Last minute edition. There we go. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
What's up, party people?
Yeah. How are the party people?
Never
Ready
been
to
better.
party.
We got Steven and the sound effects guy in the chat.
Oh, sound effects guys here.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Also, we're trying something different tonight.
Something new, something fresh.
Yeah, it's we're spanning the globe. We're broadening our reach.
We're syndicating.
We're live in Times Square.
Yeah, that's right. Your stream is on the East Coast, Brian. So
it is.
We're now yeah, that's right.
It's 9 p.m. here for us.
We're in 2 time zones now. It's amazing.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so this episode, Brian has joined us, and we are also streaming on Brian's channel.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome new people from Brian's channel. If you're unfamiliar, this is the Tech Audio Chat, where we hang out and chat tech audio. And everyone here is someone who is willing to do that.
It's beyond that, Dan.
Tonight is pretty deep.
Tonight's a very unique opportunity. How often do you get to talk about Unreal Engine features with the dude who made them? Like, it's like
true.
It's a pretty cool opportunity. I'm excited. No pressure, Eric.
No pressure. Yeah, that's right. So for new folks and folks with short memories, my name is Dan Reynolds, and I work at Epic Games right now as a technical sound designer, and we're joined by Brian Michael Fuller.
What's up, everybody?
Who is working at Probably Monsters?
Probably.
Eric Buchholz, who works with me as a colleague at Epic Games, also a technical audio designer.
It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
I know, right? They can't we go like unobserved.
No, Dan, you can't work by yourself, okay?
That is actually, by the way, that is true. I did a lot of work last year by myself, and they didn't like that. So now there's like a whole. They're like, you gotta check in with us every once in a while. And we're also joined by Charles Scurid.
Sir Charles, as I like to call him.
Yeah, and also surprise. Technical audio designer at Gameloft.
Bunch of nerds.
So that was a little twist at the end.
Bunch of nerds up in this joint.
That is true. Yeah, there we go. That's good. And apologies to anyone refugees from LinkedIn. It's just a disaster trying to stream over at LinkedIn for some reason. It's new. Like I was successfully streaming on LinkedIn for like a couple months there. But something happened in the last month, and it just doesn't work anymore. So I assume it's some, shenanigans with like back end updates that no one's like conforming to or something like that. Software development stuff.
No, I think what it is, Dan, is a lack of your 20-second videos in the morning, like the life of it. 20 seconds in the life of the technical audio designer.
That's right.
You like brushing your teeth and drinking
That's
a
right.
coffee.
Speaking of drinking coffee or tea.
Nice second.
When I'm thirsty, I drink tea from Seattle's premier resource for tea, the Perennial Tea Room, located downtown Seattle near it's just Pike Place. It's not Pike's Place.
You got it.
In Post Alley, it's a cute little alley, and you can order online. But support your local tea shop. So if there's a local tea shop, support it. But not like those big conglomerates. Fuck those guys.
If there's not a local tea shop, order it from Seattle.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Home of coffee.
That's right. I mean, I like to find a local tea shop when I'm, wherever I am, and I'll order from there. And Perennial Tea Room is my jam. And they don't know that I do this, and that's fine.
Yet.
It's an honest endorsement. It's not paid.
You're gonna walk in there sometime and they're gonna be like, "You're Dan Reynolds."
You're Dan Reynolds. This is the thing is when I go to a store and they recognize me, that's when I want to stop going because I'm like, oh, I go too often now.
Oh no, I go to that one more.
Yeah. No. When they know like what I want before I order, it's like it's just embarrassing and I don't want to go there anymore.
Your opinions on normalized values.
You can't change your mind. You feel bad if you change your mind, I got into that.
Like when they have it prepared for you when you're up there and you're like, oh, I was gonna get something different.
Not anymore. I guess I'm getting the same old thing.
I was going to spice it up today. Today I have decaf Earl Grey with some Oatly oat milk.
Bergamot.
In my Jurassic Park mug.
I've got the Earl Grey extra tonight.
Oh wow, Earl Grey for you also.
Not decaf.
No.
You're just going for it.
It's got extra Earl Grey.
That's extra bergamot, I think, right?
It's the bergamot's so good, man.
Yeah. How we got? Yeah, no new people. We've dropped people since we started talking about tea. This is great. This is what we're here for.
You know, tea is very controversial.
It is. That's right. Cool. Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know, Eric. I feel like if we go deep on this one, it might take the whole time just to like walk through stuff. So I don't know how deep you want to go or how deep you're prepared to go. But it's kind of an interesting landmark for the stream because, as Charles reminded us earlier this week, when we were planning on chatting about the TechAudioTools, the new TechAudioTools content plugin that came out this week, that we actually started the stream talking about the TechAudioTools plugin, the engine plugin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we did the SFXR or the SFX generator, whatever, on the stream. And so, so it's kind of come full circle, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we can go pretty deep. Like, might as well just dive in and go on all the side tangents we want to. And I guess, do we want to first like talk about what it even is, or like?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's no videos on it right now. So when you go to the page, it's just a little bit of description. And disclaimer, I haven't used it yet. So like I'm learning some stuff. So it would be cool to have you just kind of showcase what the heck it is, what it does, blah, blah, blah.
Also, maybe remind people what the TechAudioTools plugin is and what the TechAudioTools content plugin is.
Well, let's start with that then. So in 5.6, we released a new plugin with the engine called TechAudioTools. And in there, we had a new feature called MetaSound View Models. And that's kind of the core tech that all of the TechAudioTools content is built around. But we started laying the foundation for it back in 5.6. And so if you're not familiar with what view models are, it's a separate plugin in Unreal that works with UMG. So it's like the widget designer making Unreal Motion graphics for making widgets and making editor utility widgets. And when you enable view models, the plugin, you have access to add view models to your widgets. And basically, it's almost like an interface that provides data that you can bind to different parts of your widget. You have to initialize the view model and like instantiate it and in order to get all that data, but it's pretty nice. And what that allows you to do, I guess there's kind of, I would say there's three, well, there's a few like big reasons to use view models. The first one would be like it separates your widget behavior from the data. And that's really nice from a designer's point of view, because you can have code that does a bunch of like data transformations or formats things properly, and then your widget is just kind of stupid and it doesn't need to know how to do any of that. All it needs to do is display the text or the floats or whatever it is. And so it cleans up a lot of like the widget blueprints. You don't have to do as much blueprinting. And I guess the second thing, which kind of ties into that, would be since your widget is now decoupled from the data, you can actually just swap out the widget with another one and reuse that view model for different widgets. And so if you have a slider or a knob or what's up, Aaron?
Hey, you're welcome.
Hello.
I'm explaining view models. So those are like the first two things. The last thing I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Aaron was a distraction.
No. I was thinking about this earlier today. I'm like, oh, there's going to be three things I was going to talk about. I thought of two of them. Those are the two big ones, and so we'll go with that. I might remember the other one later.
I think and so what's interesting is that the view model makes the work of building the UI widget more efficient, but at the same time, it's still quite involved.
Like creating the view model itself.
Yeah, creating the view model, and exactly, standing up a widget with all the data you might want to have to interact with, and so that's where the TechAudioTools Content plugin comes in.
Right.
Can you guys, talk about just kind of like some use cases for these? Like what are like the top few use cases? Why do these exist?
Yeah. So view models in general are mainly a way to make life easier for designers or people who are creating the widgets, and they don't have to worry about formatting the text or like transforming the values into something that's like human readable. So for instance, like you could have in your video game, you have like a health bar UI. And so you'd have a health bar view model that gives you like a percentage of your health. And then the widget designer can just bind that value to the value of like a slider or like a progress bar. And that becomes bound and is, that's the other thing. It's more performant. It's maybe on the bottom of the list of benefits of using view models. But as far as UMG bindings go, like historically, they're based on polling. So it's going to tick every refresh of the widget. It's going to be going and calculating and finding the values. And it's pretty crazy if you try to do that times all of your widgets, especially if you have like a bunch of lists or just a ton of widgets. It'll slow down your editor. View models only update when the value changes, and so it's a lot more performant. You can get away with a lot more widgets on the screen, and you can have a lot more bindings.
Brian, are you asking from the perspective of maybe like, I don't know, the end user?
Yeah, just kind of like, I've had a lot of people in my circle asking me, hey, what is this for? Like, who does this benefit? Is this player facing? Is this design facing? And it's so brand new and there's no content out there for it. So I think just kind of like giving an overview of, why you guys made it.
And like, I can try to maybe answer it from put on the high level at the high level goal of both the TechAudioTools plugin, but I think the MVVM and all this stuff ultimately is to make custom interfaces without having to hire a programmer to do it manually. I mean, so you can basically have the DAW style skeuomorphic interface, which is more than just eye candy. It can make really cool eye candy, but it's more than that. I have a book. Right, actually, I'm gonna grab it real quick. That I think is I recommend this book.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah. I recommend it. I'll recommend it again. One of the really compelling arguments in here, I mean, it goes through all of these interfaces and stuff. One of the interesting things is that audio people are obsessed with interfaces and layouts and shit because we have so many parameters. I think at the end of the day, there's so much stuff, and interfaces and layouts are more than just like, oh, this looks cool. It can do multiple things, make it more intuitive to use the tool. You're building a layout that implies functionality and format. It makes you easier to compartmentalize functionality. So you're not looking at a flat list of parameters. You're thinking about like, oh, these things are related to X feature. These ones related to... And building those kinds of interfaces are really expensive from the standpoint of like hiring engineers and artists and UX artists and all, like it's a whole thing. Building those interfaces in a way that's performant, like that actually functions nicely, it's also expensive. And so I would say this tech thing, like Eric has a tendency, because he's super technical, to go into the weeds real fast. I also do that, but part of my gig is to always remind people the high level. And the high level is this allows people like Eric and Dan, who are not programmers, and Charles, and you, Brian, you're all really technical, but for yourself and for your colleagues who are less technical, to have really powerful tools without having to hire a team of programmers. And that's at the end of the day what it's about, is making intuitive, powerful, easy, inspiring tools without, less expensive. Does that seem like a reason?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And I'm specifically with MetaSounds. I glanced at the document page. What are some of the use cases where this would save us time, like other than like having to build a MetaSound from scratch every time and add a sine wave and add an envelope filter and all that stuff?
Yeah. So let me. I want to sort of add on to Aaron's thing a little bit here. So.
That was a virtual high five. Dan.
Oh, okay. We can hire as the engine, like Unreal, Epic could, we have programmers who create interfaces for our tooling, right? But MetaSounds are an unknown set of inputs. Like MetaSound is something that you create.
Yeah.
That you as a designer creates. And so what should the interface, what should that be for you is not something that we can define
ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. So this is about providing tools to make that work easier. Now, in my opinion, this is something that we have dreamed of for a really long time, since the beginning of thinking about MetaSounds, or the MetaSound front end at least. And early on, I remember being really inspired by Reactor.
I was about to bring up Reactor, Dan.
Right? Where it's like, you have this complex graph.
They're in trouble now.
You could do. Well, we're not going to talk.
That's another
losing business model. I don't know. We'll see. We want to make technical stuff and intuitive stuff.
That it's not because of Reactor. So let's just be clear about that.
Bro, can you talk to Tim Sweeney and tell him to buy native instruments, please?
That is outside of my wheelhouse. That's right. No, but Reactor is a great example of it's a very powerful tool, and you can go into the graph, but 90% of the Reactor users aren't going into the graph, right?
No.
And what's cool about Reactor is you add an input and it gives you a widget.
Yeah.
And so you have this sort of common interface that is very easy to, it just sort of automatically happens in a way. We're not quite there. We're getting closer and closer to this. But and there are ways where you can use the TechAudioTools plugin to do automatic interfaces.
Yeah.
Charles was messing around with that. I don't think we have a demo on that.
But actually, if I can cut in, that is something that I really like about it, because I get too caught up in the interfaces often. And I loaded up the SFX generator earlier on, and I didn't realize that my interfaces were just going to take that over unless I told them specifically which sources or patches they could interact with.
Yeah.
But all the preset parameters were just there. I didn't have to think about it. Yeah. I didn't want in that moment to mess around with making something really nice. I'd lose my afternoon basically.
Yeah.
It worked. I was able to tweak the stuff, and then I loaded your thing, and it was much nicer. But yeah, in that respect, I think it worked really well.
That's Reactor also, right? Reactor's sort of vanilla widgets are kind of boring and uninspiring. And then you see some of the ensembles that the community comes up with, or paid folks like Twisted Tools and Soundmorph, they come up with, and it's this is so cool looking and it's so fun to interact with. And I think Aaron mentioned that sort of at the beginning of his talk about his bit about interface, but it's a very influential part of the creative process. Yeah. How you interact with it.
And now, so we're high-fiving back and forth. Dan and I are mutual hype men here. But one of the other things is I realized I didn't answer part of your question, Brian, is who's it for?
Yeah.
It's for sound designers working on Unreal Engine, making content for games. It's could be for people using Unreal Engine for art projects. It doesn't like a pro, your typical pro audio consumer who want to use Unreal Engine, but also do cool audio stuff. I don't know. So in other words, it's kind of trying to tap into a little bit of that. And also maybe games, it could be relevant for the runtime. Maybe a game would want to show a cool interface directly to a meta sound. Obviously, it would be a non-traditional game, but why the hell not? But the primary audience is sound designers making content. That's it.
I feel like something that we keep moving closer and closer to, which maybe wasn't obvious about meta sounds at the beginning, but was always part of the intention, was that meta sound, like authoring the graph, is something you do infrequently, and your interaction with it is through the sort of preset interface, and this is an expansion on that idea. You can imagine
market, a marketplace.
Yeah, you could do exactly. Like someone in the chat here could make their like cool meta sound library and then
Charles.
Basically skin it
Brian,
with like their own custom visualizations.
Let's go.
So one of the things that's missing right now, or it's small, is this idea of a marketplace of people making cool stuff and sharing it, But meta sounds, if I hadn't said it on this before, is named after the metaverse. Meta sounds are the sounds of the metaverse. And the meta part is trying to invoke this idea of content sharing and content reuse, and imagining a marketplace where people are downloading things and interacting with each other through interfaces, both in terms of visual interfaces, but also like meta sound data interfaces. And that's the kind of vision of where the original thing was trying to go. And so it hurts me when someone like on YouTube is like, I remember somebody was like doing a click count of a particular task for comparing like how to do it with Wise, and I don't want to talk about Wise, but they're like, look how easy this is to do with the Wise. We'll do this and blah, 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 blah. It's 3 things and it plays it down. Now look how many clicks I got to do with the meta sound. Like, I don't know. They weren't, they didn't have an accent, but they're
not Italian.
I got an add an
meta sounds.
Yeah, you got the meta sound. What the hell is this? Anyways, all of the different, counting up all the horrible UX and the clicks and like, there's no way that I could work as a sound designer if every time I had to make a sound, I had to do 700 things. And of
course,
hope
you never see one of my videos.
This is the danger of ever talking about your stuff or pointing it out to people. If someone looks at it and they're like, clearly this is the path to insanity. So
I'm sorry about that.
That's what you find at the end of the path of insanity.
The point being is that the real comparison, the vision of meta sounds, is like, I got to make like the stuff Eric and those are making is like, okay, your task for your implementation with meta sounds is actually, I make my sounds, drag it in, and move on. Like I don't have to touch anything. Like that's the vision, is that it's that fast, But there's an upfront cost of you having to spend time thinking about designing the topologies that you want for your game in an earlier stage, thinking about your workflows, thinking about your tool, because our target is AAA high quality developers that are thinking about pipelines, not like knee-jerk reacting like, I gotta make a sound, make new meta sound. Like that's not the target audience, although and the tool doesn't seem to suggest that yet. And this interface is kind of hoping to go in that direction. So along with the TechAudioTools plugin, it's now a place that exists that we can now continue to publish, bread and butter based topologies. I mean, this is where Fortnite, they're checking in sanitized versions of their stuff, where it's like, hey, this is the kind of stuff we're doing. You guys can now take advantage of it, and then maybe from there build out libraries so that maybe in the future with the marketplace, the vast majority of sound designers at the end never have to even concern themselves with meta sounds. That all the technical folks have handled the 99.9% of cases. And I'm a sound designer. I just go to the marketplace and I'm like, I want to play. What do I want for my game? Let me drag the vehicle. Okay, boom. And then it's already got content ready to go, and they tweak it, call it a day, bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. And you're off the races. That's the vision.
Or like someone, or someone else on your team, right?
Or someone on your team, You got a tech audio person who's like loves to make meta sound. It's not for, So the point is the tech though is like in this sort of like stage, and people pick up on it before it's like got the full thing. And it's sad, You're like, they're judging it before we've been able to actually. And with the way Epic develops is that everything's always just push. And we're also shipping games and stuff, so it takes time for the vision to realize. We don't have the luxury of being in private for 6 years and then rolling out with a complete vision.
Yeah. There's another aspect to this interface that I think we've implied maybe heavily, but we're going to touch on in some of these demos, and I do want to move over to that so we can start. Like Eric's going to show us like how to install the plugin and all this sort of good stuff.
Yeah, let's do that.
But it's that having a layer between the user and the input data allows you to do stuff behind the scenes, sort of like magic tricks behind the scenes. Like you could have, like for example, someone recently on our team created a widget that's like just a 2D panner, and so that they get audition sounds in in different parts of the screen space. And so that's really cool, and it's just like a single widget that's driving like 4 values under the hood with some mapping in the interface layer. So yeah, are you ready, Eric? Do you have your
yeah, so I just installed the plugin.
Do you want me to add it to the thing? Can I share?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
good.
Yeah.
I've just got a basic project here that I've installed the TechAudioTools Content. You do have to make sure that you've enabled the engine plugin, TechAudioTools, which is like the core tech, and then all of like the widgets and blueprints are going to be in the content plugin from Fab. And then the other plugin you need to have enabled is the UMG view model plugin, because that's what our tech is built on. So in the plugin folder, there's just tools and widgets. So tools are like the finished things, and then widgets are kind of like the building blocks, or all of the ingredients where that we use to build those tools.
Can you do like the magic reflect? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
enhance. So should we just look at one of the tools first, or maybe?
Charles, you were recently looking at it. What do you think is the best place to start? Yeah, maybe the tools. You took too long. Sorry, Charles.
Sorry. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So besides doing stuff with like MetaSound preset widgets and having knobs and sliders, you can actually use view models for like editor tools and like doing modifying MetaSound metadata or input values and all that. So this tool is I'll just open it up in the blueprint view so you can see that you have access to. Oops, on my other monitor.
Yeah, and I think so. Let me just for context. I think what's good is we should look at the tools. Let's actually just see. Can you let's just try them out and see the kind of stuff like that you can do. Like so, it's like ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So here I can run the tool, and I don't have any meta sounds. I'm gonna have to quick make one.
Yeah.
And I have to give it some inputs. Oh, and I'm actually gonna load it in here. So while I add inputs, we can see that my tool is also reflecting all of those inputs that I've added. And if I want to, I can change the display names and descriptions using this metadata editor. You won't be able to change anything that will affect the playback of the MetaSound in this tool. We wanted to make this one like safe for people to go in and document their inputs, and really the main purpose of this tool is because I really wanted to have a way to edit the sort order of these
This is what
variables.
I was playing with earlier. I love this. The game changer already.
So you can click on, and maybe let me make one of these a bool just so it's a little more clear that I can take this and I can drag and drop it, and then I can commit that by clicking reorder. And now if I had another, if I put that on like another meta sound, my input pins will be how I want them. Oh, I need to make it referenceable. I forgot about that.
Yep.
There's access flags. Yes, you have to make it referenceable now. It's no longer on by default. And then now I can drag this one into another meta sound. There we go. So the only caveat here is that this won't update this pin in real time. If I try and do it now, I'd have to, I don't know if just updating it. I think I have to like close this and then reopen it. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah. So there's like small things like that. That's more of like just like an editor thing. But yeah, you can.
But I think what's cool, so we're going to show these tools. I think we've got 3 of them, right? It's your 2 and then my fancy one. And so what's cool is that so Eric did some practical stuff like the metadata editor, which is really cool, and then the other one that we'll show is really cool. What's really neat is that you can then crack those open. We'll take a look at them, but you can crack them open on your own and sort of take a look and see how they were made, and you can imagine the kinds of things that you could make that would assist your team practically. And then in mine were like wacky.
Yeah, so like you can open up the tools and you can see how we assembled them. All the blueprints are here and available. Hopefully clear enough to kind of get the gist of it.
Also, just like your layout is so clean. I just want to say, Eric, like that. Look at that. Like
try to make it look as like editor native as we can.
It's so pro looking.
You can get really good results in UMG. I think a lot of people don't realize
throw the canvas down.
No, do not use
canvas. Put a jumble of widgets on there.
Please do not use canvas. And so here's like all of the different components that make up that larger one. And these all have are valuable things to look at too. Like how are we making these different lists and all that.
Yeah.
It gets pretty deep in the weeds here, like with how I'm using some of the other view model classes that are included in the plugin. I guess we could kind of look at some of these here.
Well, I mean, this is a lot. Like you can see, there's a lot of work that went into this, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Is like part of this plugin is also like a bunch of stuff you can just grab. Like you can grab and use it in your own, tooling.
Yep. And like I was saying before, like using view models reduces the amount of blueprinting you have to do. So this is an entry widget, and all I'm doing here is I have some conversion functions that are localized to this widget, but like this is all it is, and it's really nice to be able to get out of the blueprint graph a bit more and focusing more on the design. So I guess on to the next one.
Yeah, let's do the input.
Yeah, so
migrator.
We have an input migrator. And so one other way you can access these tools, rather than navigating into this plugin folder, if you have a meta sound, we have them added here up on the top toolbar. So you can access the metadata editor as well as the input migrator just from the top bar. And so that's actually using, real quick, I want to touch on the editor utility menu class. If you've never seen this, I wouldn't be surprised because I don't see anyone ever talking about them. It's just an editor utility blueprint class, and you can specify over in the class defaults what you want your button to say, like which icon you want it to use and which menu you want it to appear in. So I just have this one set to appear in the meta sound editor.
That's so cool.
Toolbar. And so you can just kind of hijack in and put these buttons anywhere in the editor. There's a console command that
nice.
What?
Every time I see Eric talk, I'm learning new things. This is ridiculous.
So tool menus.edit.1 will now show kind of these different, like it's like a wrench with like a toolbar looking thing. Anywhere you see those icons are places where you can stick some buttons and stuff. So like on the content browser, I could add buttons here if I want.
This is
that's awesome.
What?
I just want to say I loaded this up earlier, having installed the plugin. I caught myself wondering, have those buttons always been there? And I just never tried them.
Once we get some more, I'll move them into like a drop down menu button. Just have tools, and then it'll populate a list instead. But we won't, right now we're trying to get people to use them more, and so we're putting them front and center. So anyway, on to the input migrator, and so
some inputs to migrate.
Yeah, I guess the backstory on this one is that there's times where we have one version of a meta sound preset, like parent preset, that we want to update, or we want to make a new version of like our vehicle or like our weapons or something, but we don't want to like completely destroy our meta sound graph that we currently have, because we might want to go back. It's good for safety to have something to go back to. And so instead of like changing our underlying graph to do the new stuff, we just made a new meta sound, and then we wanted to copy our values from the old presets into the new one. And doing that by hand was pretty painful. I probably did a few of them first, and then I'm like, nope, I'm making a tool, because I don't want to spend the next however many days copy pasting values from meta sound to another one.
I just want to say that was the smart thing to do, because I had to do the same thing. By the way, I did that on Lego Fortnite, but it was only for like 36 presets. So I just did it like in an evening, but it is horrifyingly awful. Like, it's just copying the parameter value from one to the next.
And it's surprisingly easy to script it, because the Metasound Builder API just has functions where you can like get and set the literal values. And so it's mainly just a matter of kind of mapping these values from one to another, which is what this tool does. So I have now an old Metasound with numbered inputs, and then I made a duplicate.
Plug-in content or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so these can be like two different meta sounds, and have different inputs and different names, but this input bool might map to another one. And so I can select them on both sides of this this tool, and I can link them. And now once they're linked, we can see that they're linked. When I hover over them, you can see the name that it's linked to by hovering the links. And if I click it, it will highlight them. And so what you do is you just go through and you link all the ones that you want. And in our case, we were making new presets. Like, we wanted new Metasound assets to replace the old ones so we could keep the old ones on hand. So we used create preset a lot. But you can also, up here, there's a show default values button. So you can see what these values are if you just want to copy the value from one to another. It's the same operation, but overwriting just uses the existing asset versus creating a new one. And I guess the last feature here is that you can save these links, which is pretty huge, because otherwise you'd have to like set up the links all the time. So let's say that you have like 1,000 presets of the old Metasound, and you have to do this linking for all of them. But no, you only have to do it the first time. And then you can click the Save Links button, and that's going to store these linked values as asset user data on the new Metasound. And so then anytime that I place a source Metasound that is a child or like a preset of this old Metasound, it's going to recall these links. And then all I have to do is like input it, create a new preset. You can also, since the logic for this tool is housed inside of like I think it's all in the view model, you can invoke those functions from like an asset action. And so you can do like batch processing, which could be nice if you have a lot of assets to migrate. And there's stuff in here to like, you can delete the data, reload it. It's just kind of what you'd expect with save data.
I'd like to add a little edge case or little fun thing that I learned today through playing with this. I didn't realize that you could embed presets in your Metasound graph as well as embedding Metasound sources.
You didn't know about either of those.
Sorry?
You learned that in you didn't either.
I mean, this is explaining the graphs that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I know that I can embed my Metasound sources, and obviously I've been using patches like maybe once or twice a graph. But but what I mean is I didn't realize that you could save a preset and then drag your preset into your graph in the same way that you drag a Metasound source into the graph. But playing around with the input migrator, there's a problem for me in my little world where I'm making these really, really weird patches. I don't like to save my my abstractions so much, because I'm going to want to change them, and I lose track of it a little bit. But essentially I could kind of make little mutations of those things, and then use the input migrator to organize that within the graph. Because I just thought it'd be useful to mention that, because you're talking about the meta sound sources as assets that are kind of standalone, and then plugging into a larger system. But it goes all the way down as well. I think you can.
This was a big thing for Rob, who is one of the main devs on Metasounds, to have sort of Metasound sources within sources and presets and all of that. Just want to shout out to that dude. He's my guy. Honestly, everybody working at Epic, every day we go into work, and it's like I'm blown away by what people are doing constantly. Just want to give a shout out to everybody here. I'm watching Eric here, and I can't even freaking believe it. Like, I actually wish I could understand how your brain works, Eric.
I wish I understood as well.
Like, how does it? You're here. It's amazing, frankly. It's really inspiring. So good work, man.
Thanks. I mean, it's like the view model stuff. View models, as users might come to understand, is there's a few potholes and like pain points in using them, and there's definitely a lot of bumping into those and learning.
I think I might have asked you this before. So there, okay. I'll preface this with saying I've been at Epic for 11 years. I am learning about new tech freaking constantly, daily, and sometimes hourly. I just want to say, while on this thing, I couldn't resist looking at Slack, and I learned a whole new tool. I've got a DM with some other engineers telling me some new tool. I'm like, when did this come out? It's like going to change everything. It's amazing. It's like constant. Yeah. So that preface with that. But two, I remember when Eric was like, "Hey, you guys know about MVVM?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So how did you tell me about, like, you've only been at Epic now for a year, 2 years now?
A little over 2 years. Yeah.
So dude coming out like a year ago, year and a half, he's like, "Hey, I'm exploring MVVM. Never heard of this shit before." I haven't. How did you find out about it? What's the origin story of you just messing around in the editor and then going into this sort of black hole of doom and then revolutionizing our like, what the hell? Like, what's your origin story here?
So it's actually funny because if you remember at GameSoundCon back in 24, I did.
You gave a bunch of talks there. I think I had a similar question. I'm just doing it for our audience here.
Well, so back then I didn't know about view models at all, and so I gave the whole presentation and espoused the goodwill of making editor utility widgets and
UMG,
and so then I it was at that point, actually, it was during that presentation where we said we wanted to release a plugin or like a collection of tools and stuff, and so it's out as of Tuesday finally. But it was pretty much immediately after I got home from giving that talk was when I discovered view models. And I'm like,
really?
Shit, like this changes everything.
Oh, whoops. I thought you were talking about view models during that talk.
No. So what I was doing, I in that talk, I had kind of a similar idea. I was using just UObjects as like data storage containers, which is essentially what a view model is. And so when I heard about view models, I'm like, this is a stand-in for what I'm already doing, but it's like fully featured, like first class in the engine.
So anyways, how did you learn it? You just were messing around? Did you?
I was probably searching up stuff on editing, like just widgets. Like I'm in the Unreal Garden Discord, which is a UI centric Discord community. And
see, pro tip: hang out on Discord.
Yeah. Join those places. There's some other Epic folks in there who
I've never been there. That's why I don't know shit about UI.
They have a channel there that's like MVVM, and so I might have found it in there, or just searching through Discord and I stumbled on some threads or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. It could have even just been on like documentation on EDC or something. But
the short answer is passion.
Just never stop looking. Like there's always new stuff, so just keep an ear out for
fearlessness. I think is the real reason.
I remember there was a talk on RealFest 24 from the Lego team about MVVM using MVVM.
Yeah, I think Lego I found that later. And there's actually been quite a few MVV. I can think of at least 3 presentations that were all super very very useful. and I think the earliest one might have been 23, which is the developer of it was giving a talk and did a very good like just overview. And I watched that video probably like 24 times, just going back to it, for best practices and just kind of understanding it as a whole, as a pattern.
I think what's the mind bender for me is that you made the like editor variant of the MVVM.
Oh, yeah.
Like it didn't exist before that.
It was like one of the first things when I looked for it. Like I wanted an editor utility view model class, but we didn't have one, and we don't have one in the engine still. But I believe there is one in TechAudioTools Content that you can use. We should get that in the engine.
Get that in the engine. There's lots of stuff that you've done that I think should be in the engine, like the Slate icon wrapper widget.
Oh yeah, well, we should talk about that one. That's like my favorite widget in the whole plugins.
Do you want to let's because mine is sort of just sort of playful. Why don't you walk us through like
the ingredients
with now that you've downloaded the TechAudioTools Content plugin, you've activated the stuff in your project. Let's make a meta sound from scratch, and let's make a preset widget from scratch, and let's just walk through the process of getting it and using the this might be a good time to look at the gallery that you've made, which is great.
Yeah, let me grab a
go full screen on his share screen.
Yeah.
So I've got a gallery here.
A sample sound. Do you have ability to record Dan going, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah"?
Do it.
I have never said that in my life.
Little Fairchild, Ferris Bueller.
We
got there in the end.
When Dan was QA, by the way, for us, he did a lot of recordings of his own voice, and Dan counting. We have Dan going 1, 2, 3. It's embedded in my ears, because programmers are working on some shit and they're trying to get it, and you hear Dan's voice counting left channel, right channel, surround, left surround. It's like his like super calm voice. I just want to say,
occlusion.
This is occluded. This is not occluded.
This is occlusion.
All right. I've got so I made like a little gallery. It's not a beautiful gallery, but it's
beautiful.
It's like a sandbox that has all of the widgets in the plugin that are meta sound ready. And some of them are called, I call them primitives because they are like pure building blocks. They don't have any text or any icons on them. So like if you want to make something custom from scratch, you'd want to go into these primitive folders and use those. And then
we'll see some ones because I made some, I like sort of modified some for my thing.
And so here's some examples of like just adding some text to it and showing the value. This button will reset it to a defined default value. So these are the things that I'm going to be making the example preset widget with. And that's also what are all in this gallery, which I have loaded up inside of this meta sound. So you can kind of see what the behavior is. I've got a toggle button, which there's different styles. You can have like text or like icons inside, or there's like just a standard checkbox or a button. So if you want like a press and hold thing, it uses the same like Boolean interface.
Show because so people may not realize this. You're in a meta sound preset right now.
Yeah.
This is a meta sound preset. So show the input when you're toggling so people can see that it's affecting the data also. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. And so integer, it's so like knobs and sliders, you can have like snapping values. It would be nice to have like an enum variant of this, so you can have like enum knobs or
like a combo
like
box.
Yeah. Like a spin box, same with float. These all have like different ranges, so it's why it's kind of weird. But these are all bound to a single input, and then I've got different settings on each of these widgets for like log scaling or like just the range in general. And if you want to look at how these were made, you can open up the widget and you can see all of the settings. which I'll get into those once we're building.
This is a great learning resource. This is wonderful.
Yeah, check it out.
And all of these widgets, you can just you can look, check the gallery out. That's what I did. I was looking at the gallery, because I used, for my thing, I used it's sort of like demonstrated using Eric's widgets. But there's like a lot of boilerplate that Eric's done to make these primitives work, and they're very easy to use. Like, it's crazy easy to use.
So one thing that we're still kind of sorely missing with this release is that we don't have like a good asset picker that's like scoped to Metasound friendly like object types. And so this primitive that I'm using is just using the default object property picker. And so if you notice, like, you can set your wave asset to like this static or material function, and it will put it here. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it's there. You can get around this by setting the value, or like the type instead of object.
It's
you
like
can
a
set
couple
it to
of function calls. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, well, you'd scope it to a sound wave or something, rather than just like a U object, So, and then it will only show sound waves here. So you can do it, but we want to find like a good like silver bullet solution that's going to be a lot easier to use, especially for arrays, because making array widgets is really painful. Currently, there's no like built-in editor utility widget like in the designer here. There's nothing that will give you an array, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of know what we're working towards here. So let's go ahead and start making one. I'll just put it in here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sadly, my microphone that I'm using in front of my face doesn't seem to be working.
It looks nice.
It does. It's like a prop. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's so ironic. When you said, "Can you guys hear me?" It was literally the loudest thing that I've heard all night.
It was very loud.
Incredible.
So I switched mics to a potentially better mic. Is it too loud?
It's fine.
I have too many mics.
Is this thing on?
Okay, so I'm just making.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just making some assets that we'll be adding a widget to. I just made a float input. That's what we'll start with, and then I made a preset of it. So there's no tricks up my sleeve. You can see there's currently like no widget in here.
Make a sound.
Make it.
Yeah, dude. What are you?
I'm not sharing sound. You're not going to hear anything.
Okay. So, well, we can at least see the activity or something. Yeah.
So we'll call it
classic
frequency, and we'll just multiply. We'll do a volume.
Nice.
Okay, so now we've got frequency and volume on our preset. I'm going to close the main graph. I should probably turn it. Well, I'm not sharing audio, so.
What is that warning about? Sorry, I don't.
Oh, I've got one shot. Let me remove it.
Okay. Right.
Get rid of it. Where am I?
Sorry, my OCD.
My interfaces aren't showing up. There we go. All right, so let's start by making an editor utility widget. I like to use vertical box as the root widget. Like a lot of tutorials will say to use Canvas, but I am going to once again continue my campaign against using the Canvas panel. It's more of a widget that you would use for like a HUD. It's got like anchors for snapping to the corners and things like that. You could use it for something if you wanted like arbitrary placement of like drag and drop widgets, like a whiteboard sort of thing, or like a graph, I guess, is probably similar to a canvas, if not.
If you're super creative.
Yeah, like if you want a widget that can is kind of responsive, like has like a web layout, that will scale in size to the shape of the window, you just want to use boxes, really. So I'm going to call this my EUW.
By the way, this is why Eric's widgets always look so clean and professional.
It helps a lot.
What I'm hearing is if you want to make it really like as messy as possible, Canvas is the way to go, right?
That's yes, 100%.
Okay. Making a note here, right? Okay. So I'm hiding my graph. I've got to fall back on something.
So just some pro tips here. Whenever I create my editor utility, I always change it from fill screen to custom. Before I do that, you can see down here, there's like some DPI scaling. That's like a weird 60.67. And it's like, got some... What's that?
It's kind of close to the golden ratio. Come on.
Sure. But custom, now I have I can test out my responsive layout by dragging and moving this corner around. Right. There's nothing in here yet, but we'll get there. The other thing that's like muscle memory ingrained into me is that Unreal has a lot of checkboxes that if you don't check them, things don't work. This is one of those moments. Yeah. And so...
bookmark this time index.
This is very important. I cannot stress this enough.
There's a checkbox somewhere.
In class settings, there is this box here called can call initialize without player context. Now, there is a project setting that you can enable. Maybe you can. I don't think Fortnite we are allowed to enable this. Can call initialized. So you can enable it by default for editor utilities or for just regular widgets. So that exists. I want to point that out, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to check it here.
Why is that such a big deal?
Because view models are initialized when widgets call initialize. And if you don't have player context, which in the case of an editor utility widget, we don't have player context because we're not in a level, we're not in the world. So we need to call initialized without player context. And so if we don't have this check, that's not going to happen.
It's weird that you right click, say create editor utility widget, and the thing that is needed to make an editor utility widget work is not checkboxed already.
Yeah, it is weird. It could be...
Come on.
It could be something that you can enable in the project settings. To me, it seems like it should be defaulted on for editor stuff, but I don't know.
To be clear, it doesn't prevent editor utility widgets from working. It's the view model initialization.
Yeah, so it's the view models that happen between pre-construct and construct is when initialization is called. And so if you ignore that step, then your by the time construct gets called, you're not going to have an instance.
This is like 50% of the time when I'm like, oh, the thing's not working. It's because I forgot that stupid
Same.
tool.
Yeah, no, this has bitten me so many times. So this box here. So we're not done in the class settings though. I would also recommend for some things, you might want to enable this in Pi for some tools and stuff, maybe not necessarily preset widgets, but enabled in debugging is also good if you want to have it for when you have breakpoints and stuff. Spawning as Nomad tab is also a nice way to get like a tab. Well, this is like a major
like a little
tab,
dockable.
Yeah, like all the tabs are dockable, but you get like this bigger handle for it and it looks nicer. So I would recommend that. You can also place it in more places around your editor.
Well, the Nomad tabs can leave their parent widget space. That's what it is, right? That's what I thought it was.
So Nomad means that you can move around the whole editor.
Yeah. So this here's without the Nomad. Like you can't put it anywhere, but if you want like a Nomad tab, let me demonstrate. Now I can put it everywhere, and it's nice because you can put it on your I want to go to the
sort of part of your custom layout, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it on my level
viewport.
Yeah, so I could dock it if I am skill issue here. So now it's docked, and I can have it slide out here, or you can pin it, and now it'll stay if you're doing level stuff.
That's neat.
So just some editor utility widget tips there. Moving on though, so the last thing in this class default or class settings, we need to add the preset widget interface. So if you just type in MetaSound, you'll see that there's a literal widget interface, which I don't want to get into that tonight. That's kind of advanced, and maybe we can do another stream on that. The preset widget is what we want here.
Yeah. I mean, they'll see it in your primitives. They'll see the literal.
Yeah, and you can check it out and use it and all that, but it does get deeper, more complicated the deeper you get into customization and creating new types of widgets. But that's by design. We want to make it as easy as possible for people to get up and running on the designer side, but the flip side is that there's more work that you have to do to make it easy for people to use. So it's a trade-off, but I think it's fine. Okay, so now that we added our interface, we have these different events here that we can override. There's preset widget constructed, and this one is how we get access to the MetaSound builder, because this widget is going to go inside of our preset, and when this editor opens, it's going to call this interface function, and it's going to provide us a builder. So I'm just going to promote this so we have it, and then we can do on construct. We need to, I guess, this is at the point where we need to have a view model. And so now let's flip over to the designer tab. The view models tab isn't here by default. If you just enabled the plugin, you might have to go into the window tab and enable the view models and the view bindings tabs. I like to dock them here and then over here because there's usually a lot of stuff filling that up. So to make a view model, there's this big add view model button. There's a lot of options here. This has grown quite a bit from 5.6. 5.7, we added, I think, the audio component view model, which gives you access to some of the different states. So if you want to make an audio component monitoring widget, you can have access to that. TechAudioTools Content. So with all the widgets, we have these literal type view models. And if I look at the float one, this one's the most advanced one. So maybe I'll look at the Boolean one first.
And all of these options are from the plugin, right?
Yes. So
models from
these are in the TechAudioTools engine plugin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so no, the literal ones are not.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the literal ones are part of the Fab plugin. I get them a little mixed up because I'm like always having them everywhere, but the one we're going to look at here is the MetaSound view model. There's two variations. One is a runtime view model, and then the other one is an editor view model. So the runtime one has a few things here. You can get like all the input view models, which we'll get into in a second, and all of the outputs, and if it's a preset. So there's not much there, but there's a lot more that we can access in the editor version, like the description, display name, the author, like all the editor-only metadata that isn't cooked. And so I'm just going to add that to this widget. And this warning pops up, which is kind of important. It's not going to initialize or instantiate this view model unless we create a binding. For now, I'm not going to create a binding. So instead, I'm going to work around this by clicking on this little gear icon that's really hard to miss. And there's a view settings menu. And in the details panel, there's create view without bindings. This isn't one of those checkboxes where things won't work unless this message is here. But in this case, we do want to have this checked. So we're starting to see all these little
the nooks and crannies.
Yeah, the nooks and crannies that are easy to forget. But and so with that, we're almost there. We have one more step to initialize this view model so that it can start giving us access to the inputs and the outputs and all of this other stuff. And that is to call one of these two functions. So there's initialize builder and there's initialize MetaSound. They both accomplish the same thing, but you would use one or the other depending on the scenario. So in this scenario, we have access to a builder. And so I am going to grab from the variables, we have an automatically generated reference to the view model that we created in the designer. And I'm going to call that initialize builder function. And when you would use initialize MetaSound would be like, for example, one of those other tools like the metadata editor or the input migrator, where you have access to a MetaSound asset instead of the builder. It's just kind of a convenience to have two different ways that you can load all of the data into it. And so now I'm going to plug the builder into the input there.
Yeah, which we cached from earlier.
Yep, that's from here. You can't do this up here because this view model won't be initialized yet.
Exist yet. Yeah.
Yep, it's not there. And so now, let me think. Am I missing anything before we? Oh yeah, so there is one other thing in the interface. There is a get supported metasounds function that we need to. This is where we specify which metasounds we want this widget to be placed into. And so the easiest way that I tend to do it is just promote the included metasounds to a variable. And now in the details panel, I can make an array of all of the parent widgets or parent metasounds that I want this widget to be in. So I'm just going to select my widget example. It's the parent. And if I compile and save, now, fingers crossed, if I go back over to my preset and if I reopen it, we should have a preset widget tab up here. And if I open it, there's nothing here because we haven't placed any widgets yet.
It's your box.
Yeah, this is our the vertical box is there.
But I think what's important about that. So what the construct event in your widget is only called when it's constructed and when the widget's constructed, obviously. Mm-hmm. And that happens when you open the metasound. So if you've made changes to that event call, you'll have to close and open the metasound.
You can recompile it as well. So like if I just throw a text widget in here and recompile, I'm pretty sure it will show up over there because it's reconstructing the widget when I recompile this. But the first time you open it, you might have to refresh the widget so that it's actually constructing. Okay, so let's get rid of the text for now.
Or maybe I'm thinking of pre-construct because I've definitely had to. Does pre-construct?
Pre-construct is called as well at like when you run the widget
and open it again.
I don't know. Yeah.
Dance stuff.
Yep. So now I'm just gonna you can go into the palette and search for like metasound. There's like all these primitives you can do stuff with, or for the sake of being able to see what I'm grabbing easier, I'm going to just grab it from the content browser, this knob. I'm going to drag it into my hierarchy. And so there it is. I want to put it on the left. So I'm going to left align it and I want to keep it at the top. So it's there. And so now we get to do kind of the fun part and configure this to be how we want it. In the details panel, we've got a bunch of stuff we don't need to look at. These are just like the generic like widget properties. So the important stuff is in view model and then under metasound input. And so if we could start by putting the input name of the input that this knob corresponds to. It's always good to copy and paste. I mean, it's just volume. So we'll do the volume knob first. And I have a chance here to give it a label that's different from my input. Like if we want like a shorthand or something, we can give it a default value. I'll put it at, well, I'll leave it at 0 because I want this knob to be in decibels. And so to do that, under the view model here, I have options for float mapping. And we want to choose the mapping type to be volume because this is going to give us linear gain to decibels. And then we have a decibel range. And so now my knob is going to go from -60 dB to +6 dB, or you can configure it to whatever range makes sense for your content. And then there's other options here for like decimal points. If you wanted to have a plus sign, which sure, we'll do that. Maybe we'll do 1 decimal instead of 2. You can change the rounding mode, and we can apply some logarithmic interpolation. And then lastly, we can change the color, which is always my favorite part because it always looks so pretty with these material widgets.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can style it however you like. And yeah, let's compile that and go back to our metasound and see if I've messed anything up. It might take me moving it. Okay, so I've messed. Oh yeah, the last thing. Dan, you remember this?
Yep.
Dan remembered what I forgot. So there's we have to call a function on the widget to link it up with the metasound, and so it's a function library function called set literal view models. Where is it? Set literal widget input view models. It's weird that it didn't show up under context, but Oh, it's because it's namespaced. That's right. So it just imported the namespace for me right there. TechAudioTools. And so now I want to grab a reference to my widget. And if I haven't already made it a variable, you want to make sure that it's checked up here. And now I can grab a reference to that widget, plug it into literal widget, and then I just give it my view model. And that's it.
And to be clear, because you're using one of the library widgets that you've created, it implements that literal widget interface that you're referencing there.
Yep. And so the widget that I'm using here, like Dan said, it's already set up to know how to get the correct view model in there. And that's just for the sake of convenience, right? We don't want to have to do a lot of binding or searching for the correct view model if we don't have to.
This to me, this is the magic of what you've created, is that this it's obvious. There's still one thing we haven't done yet. But this is like,
I'll find it.
So like we're explaining everything out, but we're like on step 3 or 4, in a series of some pretty basic little checkboxes type stuff. And I think that's really cool. I think that's, to me, that's like the power of taking advantage of this existing tools. Oh yeah,
this is a good chance to shout out to the documentation. It's always a good reference here.
Yeah, it's linked in the Fab plugin, like Fab Store front page or whatever. You can link directly to it.
Yeah,
and I'll add the links in the chat.
He's missing a checkbox.
I know. I need to see what I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Need some videos
right here.
Need some videos.
Yeah. We forgot this step.
Classic.
Yep.
So that's what I was gonna suggest, that you forgot that step.
Of course. How could I forget?
It was on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. Sorry.
So when you click on the view model in your view models tab, in the details panel, there is a creation type. And right now it's set to manual, which means that we need to call like construct object of class, like on a blueprint, and then set it. Since we're not doing that, and we just want we want it to do it for us automatically, we can just do create instance, and that's hopefully the only thing we're forgetting. But
so set manual is really useful if you want to pass a view model in from another widget or something like that.
Yeah, you can get really complex into like view modelception and have like view models getting passed in from other widgets and stuff, which is, you can see examples of that in the other tool content, but it is pretty complex, and I don't think I could, I'd have to stumble my way through explaining how that's all working. But it's working now. So like we can see here that we've got 12 dB is about 3.98 linear, which is how Meta sounds internally. It uses linear. It doesn't display decibels here.
Well, your parameter is linear. Like you're just scaling
you'd have to do like
a conversion multiply on the audio. So.
And we can reset it to default and all that. So
can I have a request? Can you make that knob gigantic?
Let me see. So I know I added some other parameters.
I want to see that.
There's like a raw scale widget scale.
So it would be good to have like a width, or something here, and I think we do have that on the I'll
slider.
put this in here, because the slider, like these widgets, since they're materials, they're kind of touchy if you scale them. And so the slider has to be like 1 to 10 ratio. It's 10 units high, 1 across. But I do have a width here somewhere. Width override. So like if your title gets to be a bit long or something, you can do that. I don't have anything on the knob, but what you can do.
Was that a limitation on the shader itself?
So there might be some, like the shaders here on the materials are they're pretty complex, and there might be some ways you can do it. I couldn't figure it out, in a short amount of time. So
we got pinged in there by Stefan, who wrote all these shaders.
Oh yeah,
he was a contractor by us. He saw the post of the TechAudioTools plugin, and he was in Slack saying it was good to see that we were using his material.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are in the engine somewhere. Material widgets.
I want to say the backstory on this is hilarious. So I don't know. You guys want a story time?
Yeah.
So the visual options for knobs and sliders and all this kind of stuff in the base UE is kind of boring. It's kind of terrible. And we were contracting Stefan who is Stefan Everard. He's like a tech artist primarily, but also a composer and does audio. And we found out about him because he was doing amazing stuff, contracting for Epic for totally other teams. And he like pinged us and he's like, hey, check this out. And I don't have it handy, but I'd share a link of one of his like crazy vehicle demos that he'd done. And he blew everybody's minds. And then we started talking to him, and his contract was coming up, and we ended up quickly contracting him to work with us on come up with cool visual audio demos. And before his contract came up, I was like, hey, can you just make us a whole bunch of really cool like audio material widgets? And we didn't even have anything. We couldn't even use them really anywhere appropriately. Like the plan was to plug them into something like what we just launched. We didn't really have an appropriate thing, but we hired this contractor. We had a little bit of time, and he went and made all these beautiful materials. And they're just using Unreal Engine Material Editor. I don't know if you can load it up and just show people. There are these insane materials.
I'm editing one right now.
Yeah, it's in the audio widgets plugin, right?
Yeah. So yeah, check this out. So that's the high. You're using a material instance. If you actually load up the actual material parameter, they're insane. This guy's a genius, by the way. So all of these are in there. These materials are absolutely insane. But the high level thing is, if you are a tech artist knowing Unreal Engine really well, you could make a ridiculous widget now.
Yeah.
We didn't even know if it was going to be possible, by the way. It was like an R&D, like, can we insert arbitrary materials into UMG widgets? And the answer is yes. There are some limitations. We did some experiments with Niagara particles because we also wanted to do like particle systems. That doesn't work in UMG, but materials do. And so we had him go and make all these beautiful materials, and they're really cool. They're really flexible. And there's if you're into UI design, Stefan's a genius. He gave us all these mocks, and he taught me a new term called nuomorphic. I don't know if you guys know what this is.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Nuomorphic. He's like, well, what kind of style do you want? Do you want skeuomorphic, nuomorphic? I was like, nuomorphic. What the hell is that? And the term is where nuomorphic means the material itself, like the cube, like imagine like a perfect cube, and then the interface evolves from that cube. So it's like a style of interface that you might see on crazy high-tech looking stuff. He was really into it, and I was like, yeah, let's do something a little bit like that. So some of this style came from that. Anyways, he's a genius. These things are powerful.
Yeah.
So you can get pretty customized. The other thing, if you go to that TechAudioTools thing, he did some crazy experiments about making materials that are like envelopes, like ADSR envelopes with materials and all this stuff.
You mean the audio widget?
Yeah, the audio widget thing. Just some crazy widget experimenting with. Like the envelopes stuff. Like it's freaking insane. He didn't even know if it was even possible. He's like, I don't even know if I can draw arbitrary like functions in a material, and he figured it out, and it's like really cool. Anyways, that looks terrible, but you should see he has some really amazing like demos showing this stuff. The guy's a genius. So if he's watching, gotta send him a link to this thing, and we'll give him a crazy shout out. If you're looking for an amazing tech artist, hire Stefan. Yeah, I think he's actually got work, but he's amazing.
Yeah, I think there's some scaling or stretching going on here, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can draw arbitrary functions in a material is kind of amazing. If you loaded that material up, your mind would probably melt and like look at he did some envelopes, metering. Anyways, just a genius dude. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is like some clever tricks on masking. It's all just like variations of a theme on crazy masking math.
This reminds me of someone's Metasound album.
Mm-hmm.
It's right. Unreal Engine, create rat's nests.
Yeah. I also think that what was really fun about working with Stefan was like realizing that tech artists also take to meta sounds really easily.
Yeah, he picked up meta sounds instantly. The guy's like, we asked him, was like, hey, what's your feedback on meta sounds? He's like, it's way easier to use than materials. And the guy's clearly an expert. And I was like, oh, sweet. I guess that's a success. He's like, yeah, no notes. He's like, no notes. It's great. And if you get into the material editor in Unreal, you'll see why he says that.
So I'm creating I just duplicated the knob to make it a very large knob.
A very large knob.
Yes.
See, that's all I was asking. How hard is that? Thank you. Jeez,
the text is still pretty small now. It's not quite
funnier that way.
I think you're obliged to put the scale from 0 to 11 at this point.
Exactly.
There we go.
It goes
very glowy, beautifully glowy.
Just copy stuff from the other. Oh,
listen to that sustain.
Except this.
Yeah,
so actually, hang on. So I can do it here. Yeah, look at that. I did not even have to
the
do
whole
it.
time.
It's right here. I knew there was some place that you could do it.
Can we access those colors dynamically?
Yes.
Yeah. I think, as far as I know, yeah.
Stefan had a whole bunch of demos where all that stuff was driven by audio analysis. So he had this crazy interface with like shit waving through and audio. I mean, he had this whole crazy thing built into it. So you can do it.
Yeah. So it's under the knob style variable in this knob, but you can also make your own from scratch from Stefan's base widget.
And I'll say this out there, somebody out there, I want to see audio widgets that are like flames or melting, like
just cool stuff.
Melting, like because you have the full power of the Unreal Engine, right? This is one of the things that I think is hard for people.
Except for Niagara.
Except for Niagara, although we did some experiments. You can do some crazy stuff with Niagara, but you have to go in Pi. Somebody was trying to explain to me, I don't remember the details, but it's something about the render and how it's set up in the editor mode. Like, it doesn't
like render stage or something.
Order or something. It's possible to fix it so that it works.
But with Niagara, you could embed meta sounds in your interface, right?
In your what? In your Niagara interface?
Like your you have particles going on your on the knobs that you're trying to turn, and the whole thing
yes.
just.
Yes, you can play meta sounds in Niagara. But my point though is like in editor, like the idea is like an editor widget with Niagara running. Because of the way the renderer is set up, Niagara doesn't run correctly in the editor for whatever reason to be used in a UMG. But the point being is that materials are pretty powerful, and so the larger point minus Niagara, you have this powerful modern game engine that can do really amazing things, and you don't have to be a programmer, and you can make interfaces do ridiculous shit that a DAW would only dream of. Like this is way more powerful than anything a DAW would have in terms of graphical capabilities. Or like Juice. So you're like, I'm going to go make a cool widget in Juice. To get to this level of quality in Juice would be a pretty significant development effort. Well, you can do that without being a programmer out of the box,
Right.
If you don't know what Juice is a popular C++ framework for DAW plugin making. And it's powerful. I don't want to knock Juice. It's cool, but it's certainly not a full AAA world-class graphics engine.
Yeah, so here, really quick, he's adding, there you go. Adding the frequency knob.
This is
very little effort. That I think this to me is what's really cool about all the work that Eric's done, is that if you look at the primitives, there's like a lot, just a lot of stuff to get that stuff set up, to be as robust as it is, and the fact that you can just sort of drag and drop these into your.
I hear it. You said you're not sharing your audio.
Oh, you're probably hearing it through my headphones, though.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
That was really bad.
You might want to turn those down.
Yeah. Look at that beautiful aliasing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Like this is, check out the gallery, see how the other ones work, and yeah, make some cool stuff.
Yeah,
do it.
Make some ridiculous interfaces and that do ridiculous things, and then post them onto Discord.
Speaking of ridiculous interfaces,
Dan, it's your turn.
All right, don't use Twitter. Post to the Blue Sky.
This is a good segue. Look at that. All right. Let me.
Did you make a ridiculous thing, Dan? Are we going to show your ridiculous thing?
I did. Yeah, I did make a ridiculous thing.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I'll remove yours from the scene, Eric, if you want, and then I'll add.
My money says it has a wavetable in it.
My money is Dan wrote some crazy custom C++ node in Medicine. That's what he did.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No. Are you hearing the echo? Is it?
Remarkably, no.
Great. No effort. There we go. All right. Yeah. So if you look, let me add that the widget reflector.
Sound effects guy says, "I love that we found something for Eric to talk about."
It's not that I don't have something to talk about. It's just that you all love talking way more than me.
Eric lit up like a Christmas tree, man.
All you got to do is just talk about widgets, man. It's like that's how you open up his.
You had him at Canvas.
So now we have my crazy widget. Which is this. I try to be very clean here, and it's representative of a single oscillator meta sound. We have seen this is the full circle part of the presentation here, because the first, or the second stream or something like that.
It was the very first stream you were looking
one?
at the SFX generator.
Yeah, does this look all familiar to everyone? Look at this.
That's the
this
poor
is like
man.
Yeah, this is the poor man's way of doing it. It's like all
Which frankly is legitimate. This is the community does this. It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not.
In fact, I want to say we do have a desire to support this sort of thing, so you don't have to go through the whole thing.
It's in the graph.
Yeah. Select this and just make a widget like quickly, Yeah. But we just haven't been able to find time to actually support that. But
so I've gone and implemented this interface for that widget. It's quite big. In fact, I added a scroll box because it's so big. And I added some extra stuff. I sort of did some interesting things. But let me just show you. Let's create a preset. So I'm going to right click on my parent and then find create preset, and then find some reasonable place where I don't have so much junk in. Let's do fresh folder, new folder 1.
Good luck.
And then here's my preset, and if I open it, remember the preset widget tab over here. Boop. And oh yeah, I've got the widget reflector up. I made it kind of big, so let me. Where's my widget?
Because you have a big personality.
It's just like Zoom. It's like on a Miro board. Like when I'm on a Miro board, like my Miro, like text gets bigger and bigger or smaller and smaller the more I work on it. And I zoom back out. And I'm like, oh, this is not matching at all.
Can you use font size 276?
Use Shift F11 as well. You can.
What'd you say?
Shift F11.
You talking to me?
Yes.
What?
It will hide. It'll hide your Windows bar. It'll full screen.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, let's get some more vertical real estate.
Okay. Here. Yeah. Okay. All right,
dude.
That did not do anything. Oh, the Windows bar at the bottom. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you're not
still
docked to your window. Dock it to your main tab. Your main.
What is? Oh. I see. I gotcha. I got there in the end. Look at this.
There we go.
This is like the youngins with their iPads. They're so fast.
We learned a new vocab word earlier today, which we will review. Those are called nomad tabs.
Those are called nomad
tabs.
Yes.
Okay.
Word of the day is nomad.
So with the sound effects generator, I wanted, all the sort of stuff that like you can see a lot of these. This is basically the not the primitives, but the work that Eric did, which we just saw. It's basically the same little widget, compound widget which has the label and the knob and the value and the reset. But I went in and modified them because I wanted additional functionality, which was I want to be able to randomize the value. And so you'll actually see if you go to the widgets, where was I? If you go to in the tools and the sound effects generator section, you'll see some like customized variants. And one of the things that I ran into, and I think that Eric agreed, at least at the time, is that like conceptually you would do some sort of inheritance where you'd be like, oh, I want this widget, but I want to change it a little bit or add something to it. But for whatever reason, user widgets don't like doing that. They're really like weird.
They hate inheritance.
Yeah.
View models hate it even more so. So it's definitely, you want to just duplicate it and then modify it.
Because of that inheritance tax,
That's big estate tax. All right.
Quick question. How many inputs do you have on this meta sound?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that I did was I organized, because remember there were a lot of inputs, but I organized them by namespace. So
hang on.
This is one of the reasons why, by the way, I want to say reordering hasn't been done yet is because of this feature. By the way, just you guys are all gushing about reordering. It's these namespaces and this feature which no one uses.
Wait, how do we do this?
Yes, exactly. No one freaking uses it. This is why reordering.
Well, you know what I realized, Aaron, because I was interacting with someone in the community about namespaces, because they were going to use an interface, and I realized that we never like talked about it.
We did. So, we have. It's not well documented.
So
it is documented, but it's not highlighted.
A namespace. It's just you just add a period between them, between the words.
Oh,
so here's the thing. The reason why the namespaces, I just really want to defend this because I regret it. I do. So I'm defending it, but I also think it was a bad decision from our end. But the idea is the namespace has the dot notation, so you can directly address it from outside the world. So you can say set param amp dot bit crusher dot sample rate. It's inspired by Open Sound Control. Instead of a dot, it's a slash. It's very much inspired by that. And then we were like, oh, we can organize stuff visually based off those namespaces, right? Do this chain of logic. But once you go down that route where you're visually organizing your stuff, then moving like if you were to say, oh, I want to move attack out, you're out of that. You're now changing the namespace, right? So because it's visually lined up. So you created this correlation of like the layout visually and this sort of dot notation. And I regret that. But because, like if you were to take attack and then drag it out and you'd be like, I want to move it under bit crusher. That's fundamentally changing the name of that parameter, which will break your content, right? You get what I'm trying to say?
Unlike categories in like blueprints or whatever. Yeah.
We should have decoupled that from the beginning, but we didn't. And now we've got tech debt. So fixing this is a pain in the ass. So anyways, just sort of a history on this. It's like what I summarized is about 20 hours of debate.
So for a refresher, people who don't remember, the sound effects generator is a single oscillator synthesizer voice, and there are a lot of points to it. But from a signal flow perspective, we have oscillation and some pitch mod that goes into the oscillator, and then we pass through a spectral effects phase. Where we add a wave shaper, a bit crusher, and a ring mod. And the reason we do this afterward is because sort of traditional subtractive synthesis paradigms have a sort of harmonically rich sound source, then passing into a filter which subtracts from the harmonics, and then passing into an amplifier which then dynamically shapes the sound. And so I've added these sort of spectral effects preceding a filter stage, with that in mind. So, and then we go through a filter, and it's a it's a state variable filter. So I actually have it set up so that it can crossfade between low pass, band pass, and high pass. And then we go through an amplifier stage, and we have an ADSR as well as a duration value and an LFO for amplitude modulation. And then after that, we have send effects. And so we go, traditionally your temporal effects, flanger, reverb, delays, those are usually send. And so these are processed in parallel and then mixed down.
Can I take one brief moment to high level kind of put some shit into perspective?
Sure.
So Dan made this cool tool without talking to one programmer, right? You didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah,
right?
no, I didn't.
He made this ridiculous thing that is extremely powerful, full featured, no custom DSP, no code to write any of this stuff. And this is a powerful thing all on his own and not writing. I think
this is all done with the stock Metasound nodes that you find in just when you download Unreal. Yeah. And you can, what's great is that when you download this, you can dig in here. You can take a look at it for yourself. You could change it. You could add stuff if you wanted to. You could check and see how I made the decisions that I made. Like the generator's kind of silly because this generator section is actually multiple generators. It's like 4 oscillators and noise source that I just activate and deactivate based on a crossfade value.
Can you go into one of those patches?
Yeah, like the triangle patch.
Yeah, so they're really like simple contained things that are built out into this massive thing.
Yeah, it's very inspired by modular synthesis. If you're familiar with modular synthesis, I think this is going to be a little bit more comfortable for you. If you're not, it's going to be a little bit strange. But the idea is you create these building blocks and then you sort of assemble them, and so that. But
I don't see a linear. Huh? So I don't see a log frequency mapper. Do you do that somewhere else?
So it's so you'll see this is internal base frequency. And so this is actually a previously transformed value.
Okay, so
that also is modulated, right? So I remember I mentioned that there were pitch modulation, frequency modulators. These affect the base frequency value. Cool. So
you do the modulation in linear or log space?
It depends.
There's linear to log frequency. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
This is a thing a lot of people don't
So here's like the normal. So one of the things that I did is I normalized all the inputs.
Good. Yep.
Except for I think 1 or 2 inputs that were not non-float values.
Okay.
So in this case I've the like raw frequency input, which is this value here. Like I can play it and go. Actually, I should have done a sound test. That's audible, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. And
sounds good.
Yeah, so you get this node gives you a nice like range, like from a user perspective. You're like, oh, this is high, and this is low. But without it, it would be like all of my stuff would be hanging on the left side of this, and all of this stuff up here would be like really high frequency dog whistle stuff. So
yeah. But also the knob range, you want it to sound linear, but that means you have to transform it into log space for it to actually sound linear. We talked about this in prior chats, but it's worth bringing up.
Yeah. Whereas like the modulator here, let's see, I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't do a transformation on this value here. So it's like I have like this sort of a pitch interval. Maybe I do it on the pitch interval. It's kind of like digging up some memories here.
Linear space and just transform before you put it on the parameter.
Yeah, so this is something that I think is a good practice. Is like you have inputs from your designers or users or whoever, and then you transform them into the most sensible ranges inside your graph, and the most sensible scales inside your graph. And so that's why you'll see I have a bunch of internally cached values that that sort of are transformed to make them more make more sense inside here.
It'll make it easier to use the input migrator later as well.
Yes, yeah, or like and this is one of the points of debate that sometimes we get is like we run into is um when we could be getting game input, like it could be data from a game input. It's like, let's say we're getting RPM data. Well, maybe we want the actual RPMs. Maybe we don't want a normalized value, right? Maybe we want some sort of discrete unit value. And so there are arguments in each case. But if you're like, I'm getting some, float value that is managed from some external team and they already have some built-in range, maybe it's just better to pass it in normalized, and then if they mess around with the ranges, those normalized values are updated automatically. But that also comes down to like your team contention, like how like some some of these values are managed outside of the audio team. How easy it is it for people to change those values? Where does the audio team want to have to manage those transformations? So yeah.
Hey, I have a question. How did you get the oscilloscope to display in your the thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So
actually, you could do that.
there's a lot of so there are a lot of different interesting features here. Let me just sort of scramble the board. So
randomize that shit.
Yeah, so part of the fun of this is you don't have to know synthesizers. You can just create endless crazy sci-fi sounds by just hitting this random icon. And now,
by the way, you and I are both believers in the randomization options. It's not.
I mean, you can just sit here and for tens of minutes randomize.
This is not something that I think DAW plugins take advantage of enough. Like
does that randomized feature? Does that just basically reformat all the float?
It just shuffles all of the inputs.
Is there a range you can set for that?
Everything's normalized, so it's just 0 to 1.
Everything's normalized, but like for example, my integer, the number of jumps, this is an integer. This is not normalized, so this has a separate function for randomizing.
I love.
Can you program where the randomized feeds? Can you set where that feeds to?
So I built the random function into the widget.
Gotcha.
Crazy. So the widget wrapper, it's not randomizing in the meta sound.
That's right. It's not randomizing the meta sound.
Oh, nice.
No, it's freaking genius, and gives him the option of locking it, so you could say, "Don't randomize this parameter."
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
Can you show us under the hood that randomized?
Yeah. We'll take a look at it.
Wait. Before let me hear some more. I want to hear it some more because I just want to appreciate.
Aaron loves noise. He just wants to hear noise.
Yeah. Do another one.
So let's say I'm like
again, baby.
Yeah. So let's say I want to shuffle stuff, but I want short sounds, right? So let me go over to the amplifier section, which has my duration value, and let me just shorten this, and let me shorten some of these values, and sort of tweak this, and maybe we'll do that, and yeah, we'll sustain all the way up, and then we lock this section. Boom. And so the way that I've configured this is that you'll see everything sort of in boxes. And so like here, the sound effects generator at the top, there's a little random shuffle, and there's also a lock. But then like in the filter section, there's so in the filter box, there's one, and it just controls these parameters, these 6 parameters.
Very nice.
But then inside that, there's like the control is just these 3 parameters, and then the single parameter also has randomization.
I've never seen this on any kind of synthesizer, soft synth, and I think that's a genius layout.
Yeah, so you can lock down parameter groups or individual parameters.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So let's just hear this short sound. Like, oh, that's the let's do that. Let's shuffle there and get some different stuff. But they're all basically gonna be the same length. That one's a dud. Like sometimes that happens. And let me say, okay, so now I'm like, I like this, right? Let's save it. So we'll call it my favorite Zap.
Serialize.
And then I arm it, and when I hit, it's actually.
Are you shitting me? Did you just write that out today?
It saved the file. Yeah. So let me. Let me load it up here.
What I gotta find. Heck? You are a mad scientist.
So,
he's taking advantage of features you already have, though. Like that's the thing. Is
exactly.
Crazy pleasure to see.
Yeah. So here, it's in. Hold on. Let me. I don't want to like everyone to.
My favorite Zap, a story by Dan Reynolds.
A story by Dan Reynolds. That's right.
So what's cool then is that if someone complaining about this being too expensive for runtime, you're like, I don't care.
Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
So here, if I go into
load it into
my project, if I go into save,
much more
exactly,
much
and then
so I go into saved, and then I go into audio captures, and
there it is.
There we go. And there's the file. I've just played it in
wow, that's
beautiful.
Cool.
So yeah, you can like
that is the sound of something that just went wrong.
So as long as this record is on, every time you play it, it will save a new file. Basically,
that's crazy.
I just wanted to add a little hack that I found on this earlier on, is that you can while it's playing, you can stop and start that record and change the file names. I didn't know that you could do this with the wave writer node. So you can change the string in real time, essentially make a batch record of
that's wild
of your SFX.
So you can script it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like thousands of stuff, just like bam, 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 just output 1,000 variations.
And then, of course, if you know
then
synthesis,
you can
then you can
re-import it and then plug it back in using the whole TechAudioTools.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Sorry, this is just like then make you lunch.
This is pretty fun to play around with.
This takes the ops to a whole new level.
Anyway, so yeah, let's take a look at someone wanted to look at the random. So let's take a look at the most common random.
Hey, someone has a name, man.
Huh?
Somebody
has a name, okay?
It's Fuller time, man.
Show us your randoms.
Oh, I see on the chat also. Yeah, this runs the BFXR. Yeah, if you recall, if you go back to the OG
what's BFXR?
Stream, we referenced BFXR in building this out. Also, we referenced I think it's called Soundmorph's like Galactic Assistant. I think it was what it's called. This is pretty cool.
I just want to say the person who said that, friend of the pod, the sound effects guy. Your tool here is putting him out of business. This is a generator.
What are you talking about? He's going to use it.
I know. It's a joke. It's like a sound effects, like old sci-fi, like
sound effects. Yeah. All right. What was I talking about? All right. Yeah. So you can see here, I'm actually using, what I've done is I've copied the Eric's widget. So you see this stuff, all the functionality is retained, but then I've added my own little button widgets at the bottom.
Eric, don't worry. It's the greatest form of flattery.
That's right.
I told him to do it. I'm like, don't try to inherit.
This itself is a widget pairing that I was like, I use these all the time. And the idea was, let me see where I can find it here.
Do you want a pro tip from
here? It's too late. The tip opportunity's passed.
It's gone. You can open the blueprint from the other one.
Yeah, I figured that was the case, but I didn't
That's fine.
Work it out. Yeah,
that's so funny.
Anyway, the idea here was that that a random call could be made, and that this lock would prevent the random call from being made. And so So yeah, if we look at let me zoom in here. We got big look. So this is the
random button.
This is the random button. Yeah, no, this is So this is the the random button is a button, and the lock is a toggle. And this part is actually just managing the look of it, right? So this is one of the widgets that Eric made, which is really cool, that we should have in the editor, like just normally, and that is a UMG wrapper around slate icons by name. So I can just pass in the slate icon name, and it gives me this nice.
That's interesting.
Like, this nice lock or unlock.
I would have expected a toggle to support this natively versus you having to broadcast and toggle it. It feels complex, but whatever. Anyways, by the way, dude criticizing tools for being complicated. Just saying. I should speak.
Something as simple as audio synthesis.
Yeah, I know. Come on. Yeah. I'm just saying, really, you have to manually set the brush icon this way when you toggle it. That just feels bad to me, but whatever.
Well, it's just a raw icon, right? So it doesn't have any meaning. Like, it could be anything.
All I'm trying to say is a toggle button. I would expect there to be thing to show when toggling on, thing to show.
Yeah, there is a default. There is a default, and it's like a little lit box, or a checkbox, I think.
So it's just
there's two options, I think. Yeah.
Got it.
So I wanted something a little nice, something that communicates better, right? The lock is a nice communicator, and then I also do like a color change. So. But then there is a get is locked. So what's going to happen is this is so when I go back to the bigger widget, I have a delegate for when this is when randomize is called, and I check to see if it's locked. So I check the state. Pretty easy. And then
I have a feeling that the person who asked about this is probably wondering, when are we going to get to the random part?
It's right on the screen.
Right now. We're here.
It?
Random float and range.
Oh, there it is. I didn't even see it. I was trying to make a joke, and it was totally landed horribly. It was did I insult everybody?
Yeah. And we didn't go into the Metasound literal view models, but this is where I'm getting the defined range.
There it is.
From the view model. And I am using that as my random range value. And then I'm basically updating the display value. The display value then feeds the value back to the view model.
So the maybe obvious thing to everybody I just want to highlight is that all of this logic is contained in this widget. Yeah. So then when he instantiates it, all of the states and stuff just go along with it. So
yeah, so I just reuse this widget on every float.
Yeah,
and actually I got sort of lazy, like. The waveform selector should probably have some nice little waveform icon. but I was here's the triangle, and then I've got saw and sine, and then I have noise.
This sounds like some Half-Life shit, like that stuff in the distance.
Yeah, hey Valve, look, just use Unreal. Anyway, it's endless. It's really easy to play around with and have fun. And Aaron, you asked about the oscilloscope, and I also have other feedback. I have these progress bars over here, which are expressing the envelope value and the amplitude modulation.
So some analysis-based UI.
Yeah. So I have. If we go back to my graph, you can actually see I'm actually writing to audio buses.
Oh yeah.
I was like, how the hell did he do that? I did not even think that he's writing this.
Writing directly to an audio bus.
I'm actually kind of surprised this works so well.
And we all were and I also have where's my amplitude section? Yeah. So in the amplitude section, I also have actual graph outputs. And if we look at my my big widget here.
Whoa.
This is the big one. We talked about this before, like passing the view models up and down the like parent-child like relationship. It's a pain in the butt, and so this is very flat as a consequence of that. But you know, so like for example, some of the like the high level random stuff. You'll just see things like this,
really
you know, like classic UFG kind of flat design there. But
still lesser of two evils,
right? Yeah. So you can actually see here when they're on the interface. We also can get when the audition state is changed, and it provides us the preview audio component, which is really powerful. And so I'm actually getting the audio component and binding it to the MetaSound output watch system, and then feeding delegates that then feed back into the progress bar percentage. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing, what's doing the oscilloscope analysis?
Yeah, so the oscilloscope,
something needs to be turning that into a graph. What's doing that?
Well, this is the oscilloscope widget is just literally just right there. I just tell it which audio bus to.
The same widget that we're using MetaSound output.
Yeah,
that's right. They turned that into a generic. I forgot that.
Yeah,
we turned it into a generic widget.
So
it's that easy.
Yeah,
that's right. This is what
right there. Audio oscilloscope. So I would say like the other ones aren't as easy to use as the oscilloscope, but yeah, there's some options here.
So you don't have like a spectrogram or something there, do you?
Yes, there should be a spectrogram there too, because that's the same widgets.
We have the vector scope. I don't think the spectrogram's up here, but we need to revisit these and make them all super easy to use.
Agreed.
But my point though is that when we asked, because we had one of our contractors work on some of these analyzer widgets, the idea was that we add them to do them once and then we can start putting them everywhere.
Yeah.
So we had them in the MetaSound editor. Audio Insights is using them all over the place, but I hadn't even registered in my mind that we could actually also for custom UMG widgets. I just didn't even think. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, and this is actually one of the things that I really like about this. So the way that I ended up utilizing them is I tapped out of the signal path at every stage, so you could see what the processor's doing to the signal path along the way.
I also want to highlight this audio bus system was a crazy idea, and it took a lot of engineers to get this thing to actually work. And I think there's probably still some edge cases where it's probably weird. But the idea of this arbitrary thread safe utility that allows you to route audio randomly throughout the engine is pretty crazy. It just is like a high level concept. It's kind of insane that you can even just grab a thing and say, tap out this audio stream, and then this totally separate system. Totally on a different thread, totally crazy. You could start analyzing it. You could play it. That audio output, Dan could put that as a bus input onto a source bus and start spatializing that completely separately from the MetaSound output. So it is an extremely crazy and powerful system. So much that like Harmonix is their Rock Band implementation. Just to give you an idea of how crazy audio buses can get. The Rock Band music is one MetaSound, but all of the actual things you hear are written out to audio buses attached to the different actors in the scene and spatialized. So you'll hear the guitar over there.
That makes sense.
But they're in the same MetaSound, like they're
in the same MetaSound.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that like if you think about game modes and shit that you could do, or like a centralized brain MetaSound routing audio around.
So that's using like an audio, is it a source bus or what's that called?
The underlying thing is an audio bus, which is all it is a wrapper on internally it's just a multi-producer, multi-consumer audio patch, like a circular buffer essentially. And it doesn't do anything. It's just like a data thing. And then if you attach that to a source bus, then it outputs the audio bus data into a thing that is something that you can treat as another sound source. But you can use it for analyzers or whatever. So in Dan's case, it's the audio bus is just the audio data. It's not rendering audio. You can use it to query, put it to the oscilloscope, etc.
Yeah.
Another fun application is if you want all your on plays to trickle down into your sub patches, you can use an audio bus with a one signal and what is it, a threshold, and get that to trigger as soon as you're patching.
Within one metasound you write to a buzz and then you read out in the same metasound.
Why not?
In patches. I mean, you could do that. That sounds insane, but why not?
I think that's latent. I think that'll.
It would incur some latency, so that's because it's a circular buffer. But I mean, what the hell? You don't give a shit about. Have you heard Charles's music?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I don't think he gives a shit about latency.
Anyway, so that's
it would probably make it sound cooler. I don't know.
That's the sound effects generator.
It's awesome, dude.
That's the plugin.
Yeah. Yeah, so check it out and make cool stuff.
Yeah, baby.
Or else.
And show us.
Yeah, show us. Yeah, tag us on social media. Yeah. Any last questions? Did I miss anything?
So last time I was on the thing, I upgraded my camera. It
looks good. Yeah. Do you want to go full
exposure's hot
to see what happens?
I don't know. I'm terrible with camera shit, but it's higher res, right?
Yeah.
Looks good.
It's a 4K camera.
I clicked your mic stuff together.
I know. I don't know what the hell well, I'm using the camera and microphone right now, but I clicked the button in this tool you have, EVMux, to say beautify. So hopefully I look beautiful right now.
You look your hair looks amazing.
Yeah.
I know I need to get a haircut, but this
No, don't cut it.
You got to go full Beethoven.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you got one before the stream is over. Also, since the last time I met y'all, I got a puppy.
Okay.
Look at this guy.
You sure that's a dog?
Look at it. Look how cute he is.
He's so tiny.
He's very tiny. He's a mini Australian Shepherd.
He's got that Alcatraz collar on him.
Yeah, the collar's too big for him, but it's a phi collar, so it's got this it's like GPS tracking. Anyways, his name is Io, named after the moon of Jupiter. Because he's got sort of red, I don't know if you can tell in his coat, like sort of red and white and brown. So he looks like the surface of Io. And my kid, 8-year-old astronomy nerd, named it. He was like, God, it looks like the moon, Io, the moon of Jupiter.
Oh, I thought you meant Io like ins and outs, like
input output. Yeah, that's everyone would assume that is the programmer. It's the moon, one of the 4 Galilean moons of Jupiter.
Moons of Jupiter. That's great.
Yeah, he's such a cute. He's so cute. Anyways, this is and he sits next to me while I code all day. He's got a little bed. I don't know if you can see. He's got a little dog bed that sits next to me. And he just chills, and I pet him. And sometimes he goes like, "Hey, I want you to pay attention to me in the middle of an important meeting," and it's great.
Oh, to be a dog.
Yeah, he's my little companion. Anyways, audio dog. I've never had a dog before, so I'm learning a lot.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for joining the stream, human and dogs alike. And
you had a lot of opinions about your sound effects machine, by the way.
Sorry, what?
Your sound effects machine. He was like, "Huh?"
Io was like, "What?"
Yeah. He loves weird sounds.
He's like, I really enjoyed the stuff that was in the 50K range.
Yeah, exactly.
My dog gets really confused by white noise. He's always sniffing in the air.
It causes him. He's got some synesthesia. The smell. The popcorn in here. Anyways.
All right, y'all. Have
awesome. You guys did a great job, man. I'm super proud of y'all.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Check it out. Check out the plugin, and show us what cool stuff you make.
See
Bye, everyone.
See ya.